Doctor Who fans love one thing more than Doctor Who. Doctor Who merchandise. Doctor Who fans love to collect things, and I'm no different. From books I'll never finish reading to action figures that'll never be played with, I'm obsessed with getting random Doctor Who merchandise, which BBC Studios must love. So today I want to discuss some random stuff I've been collecting, official merchandise, and some fan-made stuff. First, I want to talk about the 1964 Doctor Who annual, the first ever one. Annual? Oh god, the comment section is going to go crazy for that. My favourite thing about this book is just the beautiful artwork. I've barely read any of it because I'm just too busy looking at the beautiful imagery. Nowadays, a lot of merchandise has a lot of Photoshop, a lot of photo editing rather than actual illustrations itself. So there's something kind of beautiful about this old style of illustration that really makes these annuals so much more special than anything that came later on, in my personal opinion. I love that you can tell that some of the illustrations are based off existing set photos, so they would have asked for reference images that they copied to try to make these images, and it's kind of amazing to see them in illustrated form. My favourite part of the book is the Who is Doctor Who page. I think it's got this beautiful idea of who the Doctor is, and it's a definite must-read for that romantic edge that comes to Doctor Who. He is mostly very gentle and kind-hearted, and he has the utmost respect for life of any kind, small and feeble, or monstrous and mighty. He has seen more specimens of living creatures than any other person in the history of all the worlds, and his heart is big enough to respect every one of the countless forms life has taken in all ages and all the worlds. It's a brilliant examination of the early character of Doctor Who, and it shows how the character of the Doctor is exactly the same today as they were at the very beginning, and also shows the many differences between the William Hartnell Doctor and the later Doctors that came. It was very hard to find a copy here in Australia for one of these, so I had to ship it from the UK, but apparently they're everywhere in the UK. So if this is something you can easily find and you're a big fan of 60s Doctor Who, I definitely recommend it. If we're going to be talking favourite Doctor Who books, I've got to bring up Wiped, the story of Doctor Who's missing episodes by Richard Molesworth. It is an essential must-buy if you love missing episodes. I got this from Telos Publishing, which is in the UK, and they very kindly sent me over a few other books as well, such as a book on Doctor Who exhibitions, also a copy of a novelisation of Deimos Rising, or is it Demos Rising, or is it Demons Rising? That's a rabbit hole I don't want to go down, so let's just leave it at this book right here that I'm not saying the name of. And also a copy of Seal. Now I've had a lot to say about Seal if you've seen the Keep or Yeet review. Yeet! But that review was very heavily put on the production of the actual picture, not the story itself. So one day I'm gonna have a look at this, I'm gonna try and read it. I'm not very good at reading books. I'm very good with non-fiction. I love non-fiction, I can read non-fiction for days. But fiction, I find it very hard. I have terrible concentration. But yeah, back to White. This was an essential purchase for my Missing Episode series. Talking about stories like The Tomb of the Cybermen or random orphan episodes that came back to the archive. It was essential to getting the right factual information. It's heavily well researched, and you know what you're reading is the closest we'll ever get to a fact when it comes to missing episodes. I get a lot of replies in my comment section in my Missing Episode series being like, you didn't go in depth enough into this, but that's because it's a 60-minute documentary and it was already getting a bit long. But if you really want those nitty-gritty details, this is the way to go. My Missing Episode series is a nice overlook of the entire thing to really give you an idea of what went on without the very specific details that some people might find a bit unapproachable. I try to make my videos as accessible to everyone as possible so people don't get overwhelmed by it. Another thing featured in my Missing Episode series was this War Machine model. A lot of people were asking where did I get it from, was it a 3D print? It's actually a larger Eaglemoss figurine. They're like a special edition thing they had. I'm not sure if they sell them anymore, but I think they do reprints every now and then. But don't quote me on that, I'm not an expert on Eaglemoss. This is the only one of theirs I actually own. Unfortunately, when I went to actually film this part of the War Machine fell off. But otherwise, it's a really sturdy model, and it doesn't move like all the toys do and everything like that. It's very specifically, this is something you look at. Isn't it pretty? And it is pretty, and I really like it. I'm a big fan of the War Machines. I think it's one of William Hartnell's greatest stories that luckily survives, and I've always wanted an action figure of it. Sadly, it's not an action figure, but in the end of the day, it still gets the job done. That's really cool. Sorry, my Bill Hartnell figure is not with me at the moment, but just to show you the scale, this is a 5-inch action figure next to the War Machine. They don't match up if that's what you're looking at, but they're not meant to match with the character options action figures, just in case you were thinking they might. Now to move on to some fan-made merchandise, I really wanted to talk about Badge Wolf's, also known as Paul Burley's, retro buttons. I think Paul's work on these are absolutely stunning. They're based off these badges that used to become in cereal packs back in the 70s, I think, and they had John Pertwee on it, but these are a redesign with all of the Doctors in it. I love this so much because it has all the different Doctors in it, so I can choose which Doctor I feel like today. Some days I might want to go out with William Hartnell on my chest, or some days I want to go out with Joey Martin or anyone, and they have so many different types of designs. They have Peter Cushing, and I thought it was really, really special. They also come in this tiny cereal box, which is really cute, and it has this amazing design of Jodie holding like custard creams in it, which is really funny and really smart. So today I can put Paul McGann on me. If I can do it. I don't know what that face was, I was just like... Now with these next ones, I'm not really sure where I found out about these. It might have been the Well Built video talking about these, but they're custom made little Doctor Who's. I bought the first 9. I think there was like a special pack that had 1 to 9. I got this for Christmas. My mum and my sister went together to buy it for me. And they're the most cutest little things ever. Obviously they're a little bit expensive because they're custom printed, and the other reason I got them was because my parents had no idea what to get me for Christmas, so my whole family chipped in to get them for me. Yeah, I think they're just nice to kind of decorate around the house. The costumes are spookily accurate and they look absolutely amazing. The quality is incredible and they're just really, really cute and I really like them. I think you can buy them individually. I got them from minifigs.me, so if you just have a favourite Doctor you want to get one of them of, I totally recommend it. They are the cutest thing ever. I really wanted to leave the best to last because it has such a nice story behind it. Back in December last year, I randomly tweeted out talking about Tardis Playsets, and I mentioned that I ordered a 10th Doctor one ages ago, but they ran out of stock, so I never ended up getting it. And the lovely people from Doctor Who Online saw the post and they replied saying they had a secondary review version of the Tardis playset that they were happy to ship out to me for free, which was insane because I live all the way in Australia. So thanks to those lovely people at Doctor Who Online, I was finally united with my Tardis playset that I always wanted. I love it so much. It is huge. I never thought how actually big it would be, but it's kind of incredible. I was like a kid on Christmas when I saw the box. I was just so excited. And turning it on and it makes the little noises and the lights flash up. Oh yeah, I was like a kid at Christmas. It was amazing. And I am so thankful that they were so nice to send it out to me. You know, some days you'll get like lots of like really negative comments and people will say some really personal attacks against you, but most days, being a part of this fandom is one of the most amazing things ever. And I feel so blessed that people enjoy the videos I make, and I'm so happy with the friends that I've made online, and I have such a positive experience with this community, and I am so proud to be a part of it. Don't forget to click below to subscribe to the official Josh Nair's YouTube channel.